There's something out there. I've never seen anything like it.
I'm not frightened by a bear.
It's not a bear.
I think you're ready. Pray.
What's going on, Rebel family? Today's video, we're going to take a look at Praise Mary Sue. I had to enlist my son to help me on this one, so go ahead and give the video a like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So I have my son here to help me talk about the newest Predator movie called Prey. And we're just going to go over some concepts, some things that we saw in the movie. He's a lot more versed in the Predator world than I am, so I needed to get his help. And he's going to explain what a Mary Sue is and some of the other concepts in movies and some of the mistakes that they're making in these movies today that I'm not as familiar with. But let's get to it. So, son, go ahead and start telling me about some of the things that you liked about the film.
Well, some things I liked was, first of all, the main concept of the movie. Taking the Predator back to the first hunt on Earth I thought was a really cool concept, and I feel like a lot can be done with that kind of concept. And another thing I thought was really good in the film was the cinematography. It was shot really well. Some of the CGI and the practical effects look pretty good, but with some of them, other ones just look a little wonky. But I also like some of the fight scenes with the Predator, and specifically the part in the Great Forest where it looked like it had been burned down. And that's pretty much it.
So, okay, so we'll get to those scenes that you like. The one fight scene in the forest was a really good scene. We're just gonna kind of play the portions of the film that involve the Predator, so we can talk about some of the things that we saw. But before we go ahead and get started, kind of explain what a Mary Sue is.
Well, the main definition of a Mary Sue is a character who's most of the time typically female. A character who is just good at things for no real reason, has no real established reason to be good at something, and things in the plot come too easy for them, and they can succeed at pretty much anything without really trying too hard, and they make almost no mistakes, and everyone in the plot seems to help them for no real reason even too.
Okay, tell me about. Let's go ahead and define some of the other terms that we're gonna use. I didn't know what some of these were. I always had to ask him. What is plot armor?
Plot armor is when a character, most of the time a main character, is put into a situation, like the writers put them in this situation, but there's no realistic way for them to get out, but they only get out because the plot demands that they continue to move on in the story.
Okay, and then what is a retcon?
A retcon is basically like taking an established part of a universe or franchise and just cutting it out and then replacing it with something else.
Okay, so some of these things occur in the movie. I'm gonna kind of talk about I guess, why we see a lot of there's a lot of YouTubers who rate this movie pretty high in the list of Predator movies, and I have my suspicions why. I'll get to that at the end, but I'm gonna let my son kind of drive this this film here. So here we go with all of the Predator scenes here, and these are some of the things that I guess what I saw here. Okay, so I want you the first thing here is pay attention to. Okay, so what is this? It's either a coyote or it's a wolf.
Looks like a coyote.
Coyote? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, the predator understands that the coyote is a threat because it is chasing. What is it? A rabbit it was chasing?
Rabbit, yeah.
So, the predator looks at the coyote as a threat. That's going to be important for later. So what's your takeaway on this particular scenes here?
Well, at this point in the film, the predator had just got to Earth,
Hmm.
and he was scouting out like for with the apex predator, which is why he kept going on, and his prey kept increasing. Like he started with the snake that was hunting the mouse, then he moved on to the coyote hunting the hare, and then later we'll see he moves on to the bear.
Okay, got you. Okay, but who was hunting the bear?
Mm, the well, Naru,
Okay.
the main character.
Okay, so yeah, that's I wanted to make sure I pointed that out because that's the first thing that I saw in this particular film. So the film gets started right away with this when they introduce the human characters. It gets started right away with this patriarchy. I'm a woman, so I can't do anything. I can't be a hunter in the tribe. So it's very on this political, womanist, feminist slant. Even though this is written by men, a couple of men, right?
Yes, this is directed by the same man who made the 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay, so these male feminists are the worst. This is kind of why we were reviewing this because I knew immediately as when I saw the trailer that it was gonna have this slant to it. All of the Hollywood movies, Hollywood movies coming out now, have this female protagonist slant to where if they're not a full-on Mary Sue, they border on the, they sit on the fence of it. Okay, so here's the scene that you were just talking about with the bear. All right, so the predator's attacking a bear. Okay, this one doesn't show it here. Yeah. Okay. So so what happens before this? Because there was something that happens before this to where what is her name?
Naru, Naru,
Naru. Naru.
Naru. Yeah,
Okay. She was hunting. And what was she doing?
she was. This is just happened after the mud pit scene where she almost drowned in a pit of mud,
Okay.
and then she went on to a river, and from a height she saw the bear, so she attempted to try and kill it, but
Okay.
her bowstring broke, so it chased her into the beaver dam.
But she did shoot an arrow into it, if I'm correct.
She did. Yeah.
Okay. So now here's the thing. The predator saw her hunting the bear. So if this movie would have kept to form, then because the predator killed the snake and the coyote before it killed its prey, so the predator saw Naru hunting the bear. If it would have kept to the script, it should have killed Naru instead of attacking the bear. But that's would you consider that plot armor? Because or at least this fight was right. The bear was chasing Naru into a beaver den and looked to be like it was going to get her, but then the predator shows up and starts fighting the bear. What do you think?
Well, yes and no, because like normally there will be zero way for her to get out of that situation, but it's not unbelievable to believe that the predator would try and kill the bear and take a trophy from him as well. So yes and
Gotcha.
no on that scene.
Okay. So now here's another one where they have the same exact weapon that she had, a bow staff or bow, whatever. Uh, and these guys are getting wiped out. Of course, they're cannon fodder. They have the same weapons that she had, but it's the leaning slant of a woman's not a threat, a woman's no threat. The same simps who say this when women are beating up men, well, she can't hurt you, so forth. That's the kind of thing that they're kind of going for here.
Well, at the beginning of this scene, there was a whole unnecessary scene with her fighting the other male Comanche warriors,
Right.
and that scene would just completely didn't have to be in the film. It served no purpose to the plot.
But even though it was in the film, the predator was always watching. He
Hmm.
would have seen that she was a threat because she beat one of the males that he considered a threat.
Yes.
So that would, by logic, would mean that she was a threat as well.
Hmm.
So anyway, let's keep going. Now here's the part that really got us. Well, it didn't show it here, but talk about the bear trap.
Okay. Well, bear traps made way back then were meant to maim and absolutely destroy
Well,
the.
even today, they still use. That's why a lot of places they're illegal because they not just trap animals, but they actually cripple or maim them. Meaning, if it's a fox trap or a wolf trap, any of those traps, they will actually sever limbs.
Mhm.
So, what happened here?
Well, she stepped in the bear trap, and there have been multiple cases where something got caught in that bear trap. Like the dog in the beginning of the movie got his tail caught in it, and the predator later in the forest scene gets stepped in a bear trap as well. And pretty much everyone just seems to walk off the bear trap wound. And later you see she just puts a little bit of medicine on it, and that was it. Like you never talk about it. They never mention it ever again.
Now, would that be plot armor?
Yeah.
Because it's no way that she's be able to pull off fighting the predator at the end after stepping in a bear trap. And conspicuously, most of the people who reviewed this film didn't talk about that scene whatsoever. And it stuck out in my mind as soon as she stepped in the bear trap that would have broken her ankle at the most, or typically I would say. But at the very least, she would have been, sprained her ankle, and at the worst, it would have severed the limb altogether. But here comes the scene that you were talking about. That one of the scenes that you actually liked.
Yeah.
This forest scene it was a pretty good forest scene. Cinematography was very good here. I liked how they showed the predator come up here. Look, there's where he steps in the bear trap. Okay, so what do you think here?
Now, unlike with Naru, I guess he can be possibly believed that he could survive that because the predators are always jumping off of high trees. They're always jumping off of high trees, surviving long falls like the Predator in Predator 2. And so I guess it could be believed that his leg could withstand it, but also then you never know because it's an alien species.
Yeah, true. I get that. And we don't know exactly how dense the bones are, but when the predator went mano a mano with the grizzly bear, the biggest, or one of the biggest or largest carnivores in the world, um, they looked about average size. They looked about the same size,
Hmm.
and that trap would maim a bear. I would think it would do around the same damage as a predator. And the reason why I say that because you know they are able to come and you know what is the word they live in our atmosphere, so they have to be similar body composition,
Hmm.
carbon, oxygen. Okay, hold up. Here comes like my son's favorite scene in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a pretty good scene, but go ahead and set this scene up.
Okay. So basically, right before this, Naru had just healed this guy. Basically, he taught her how to use the pistol, and she had given him some medicine. And it turns out that the medicine lowers his body temperature enough so that he's invisible to the predator's thermal vision. So when the predator walked up, he began playing dead, and you could just play it from here.
Okay. Yeah, it's classic. I don't know why we laughed at this, but that part was very funny. Okay, so look, okay, here we go. Here, let's talk about this because this didn't get covered in a lot of these videos as well. And we knew instantly when we saw the setting of this the time period that they were going to have to step the predator back in its technology in order for you know um, natives or peoples from hundreds of years ago to be able to take on a predator, that the predator's technology was going to have to be stepped on. But how do you see that? I don't really buy that.
Yeah, well, I think that the Predator's technology would not be that primitive because they're advanced enough to travel between galaxies because their home planet, Yautja Prime, is not in the same galaxy as Earth.
Right, I
So
agree.
if they're advanced enough to travel between galaxies, they'd definitely be advanced enough to have better weapons than the boltcaster.
Yeah. So now, is this plot armor, or is this what would this fall under?
This is just kind of a bad movie.
Bad movie. Okay.
Bad was
Bad movie plot, or
yeah.
yeah, this is silly.
Pause here.
Yeah, this is silly right there. To me, if they are more primitive, they rely less on technology, not more.
Yeah.
So he should have been able to fire his bowcaster or whatever um, using line of sight. If we're gonna follow the logic, if he steps back in technology, people 100 years ago used less technology. They had to rely more on their physical gifts or attributes. We today we use more technology, and like now nobody has to remember a phone number. I had hundreds of phone numbers memorized when I was coming up, but now I don't memorize any phone number because it's on my phone. So the more technology you get, the more you depend on it. And so what do you think there?
Well, one thing that I think is like, so that they could have done this better is they could have made this an unblooded predator, because you remember this could build upon predator lore, because unblooded predators aren't allowed to use the plasma caster that they're normally
Oh,
used.
I get you. I get you. So what he's saying is, when they say unblooded, that means they have not killed. A predator has not killed an alien species.
Or
Now,
xenomorph.
xenomorph. Yeah. See, he's gonna give me the correct term. Now, I know this is for all the sci-fi geeks out here. Some of you guys might not get it and might not understand it, but that's what unblooded means. He hasn't been initiated into the ranks of a real hunter.
That would be a good way of explaining why
That's a
he's
good point.
using not so advanced technology,
Right.
but it would still make sense as for him to be able to travel between galaxies.
That would have been a good point. That's a very good point. That he only has hand-to-hand weapons.
Hmm.
That would have been. That's a very good point. All right, so here's where they're kind of setting up the final battle. The brother has to go out. The predator, for some reason, doesn't see her as a threat, even though she has a pistol in her hand, and he's been shot with the pistol quite a few times in the forest. Again, she's helping someone who's trying to kill him. She has the same weapons. She has an axe in her hand, but it builds on this narrative. Oh, women are just not a threat. He just does not see her as a threat, even though he was walking towards her right then. What do you think? What do you think? Is that what you're gonna say?
Well, okay, keep going until it gets to the next scene. Okay, here. You can pause here.
Mhm.
Well, in this whole scene, this is one problem and a rule that no movie should ever break is you always have to show and don't tell.
Oh,
And right before the predator showed up in this scene, you have this long what's the word? Monologue. Long monologue by Naru talking about why she can beat the predator, talking about because it doesn't see her as a threat.
yeah.
And this is breaking one of the biggest movie rules, which is
Right.
show don't tell.
Right. Exactly.
And because at this point in the movie that can be inferred, but even though another thing with this scene is that the predator would absolutely see her as a threat by this point because she had a pistol. And if you look at the predator from Predator 2, the city hunter, he killed everyone on the train in the scene, including a woman, because she had a pistol.
Right.
He considered her a threat. The only woman he didn't kill her because she had a baby.
And he didn't see the baby as a threat,
Hmm.
but he saw her as a threat, but not the baby as a threat. Got it.
Yeah, but the other woman on the bus who didn't have a baby, he killed her.
Killed her. Yeah. This was probably. Uh, this is where I was. This is where I was saying this is. This is why I said this is Mary Sue. It's going into the Mary Sue thing to me, because look at it. She had already been stepped into a bear trap, and she's able to move. And the predator's he's an absolute moron, because he just threw a spear and missed. He's trying to stab her and missed. It's so much here. Right there, he slices at her with his shield, it hits her, but it doesn't cut her. It leaves no kind of mark. I mean, she has Superman type skin or something.
Even though earlier in the movie he punched a bear once and it died.
Right. Look at this. He's constantly missing. So either she's a Mary Sue or he's just an idiot at this point. He went through a legion of
Fur trappers.
fur trappers and natives. She cut off his arm with some little hatchet.
And then she cut off his arm by deflecting his shield.
Yeah, deflecting the shield. I'm sorry. And then she's able to pull this. Yeah, that was incredible. See, that's where I get the Mary Sue thing from. That's why I did the thumbnail that way, because she's able to pull him over if he's anywhere the mass of the grizzly bear, which I would imagine 400, 500, 600 pounds easy.
He's able to easily pick up the grizzly bear and
Yes.
lift it over his head.
And she was able to pull him down, and she's maybe 100 pounds, maybe 90 pounds. It's unbelievable to me. Anyway, what happens? Oh yeah, this silliness.
Here is where I got a really big problem, because it's almost as if he doesn't know how his own weapons work.
And he still had time to move here. Look at this. He had time to move. Yeah. Okay.
At that point, he should know that he should know his own weapons better than she does.
Right.
So whenever he fires the bowcaster, he should know it goes wherever the triple red dots are, his laser sights.
So, give me your. There's five. What is it? 5 Predator movies total. This is the 5th.
Well, 7 if you include the Alien vs Predator movies.
Do they count those?
A lot of people do, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just do the regular Predator movies. Put those in order, your rankings in order that you feel that they should be ranked in.
Okay, well, from worst to best, I'd have The Predator from 2018. I think that's when it came out. That movie just had a host of problems. The CGI wasn't good. The acting and the comedy, there was too much comedy in the movie.
Yeah, got you.
Next, I will have this movie. And I don't have it this low because I think it was that bad or as bad as The Predator. I think I just have it this low because everything else was just, I think, was way better. Next, I have Predators.
Got you.
Because that one had a really cool concept introducing the super predators and how there's the blood feud between the normal predator type and the super predators. Next is Predator 2 because the switching of the setting from a forest into the city of Los Angeles was a really cool concept as well. And obviously, number 1, I have the original Predator.
And we saw a lot of people have the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger 1. This one 2, 3. Most had the Danny Glover Predator 2 in the city. Then Predators with Adrian Brody, and then the last one, The Predator. Most people have them in that order, and most of the guys that we saw reviewing this film, they were white guys. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is where I see things that my son doesn't see. They have to, or they can't have a black protagonist male in the number 2 spot. So they put this movie above the Danny Glover movie, and I think they did that in a lot of ways because of who she is. Fairly attractive little girl, or whatever, young girl, whatever. I don't know how old this chick is. She's playing a little kid in this movie, but I'm sure she's a 20-something-year-old woman. So she's the exotic type. A lot of these guys, they're hot women. That's why anime is so popular. That a lot of white guys like Asian chicks because they see the Asian chicks as different than the white American chicks. That the Asian women are a lot more submissive or more traditional as opposed to the American women. And the reason why I'm saying Asian, because she has more of the native or Asian phenotype, the Native American Asian phenotype, even though she may classify as white, because a lot of Native Americans, are white and they reclassify themselves, i.e., $5 Indians or whatever. So that's one of the reasons why I say that. It is what it is. It's a lot. A lot of times, racism plays into these particular issues to where you know racism will play into these issues that they have to. It's you put a white guy on top. He has the best film. Arnold Schwarzenegger has the best film, which I agree to. Predator, the first Predator was the best. But Danny Glover's that was second best. It was better than this. It was more believable in a sense than this movie, just because of some of the things that we were saying here. Um, but what else? What do you got? What final thoughts did you have?
Well, an idea I had for why so many people have this one at like number two or so high, was because the recency bias, which is basically when
Yeah,
something
that's true
new
too.
comes out,
Good point.
and people just say they like it way more because it's new.
Yeah,
And so I was thinking maybe it's because it's a case of recency bias, because a lot of these reviews came out like the same week or the week
right,
after
right.
Prey was released. And maybe it was like a combination of that and the fact that the last Predator movie, no one really liked it. The Predator, no one really liked it, so people thought this was just like way better, and they ranked it so high or something like that.
Did any of those guys have rankings before this movie came out?
I am not sure.
I wonder how they were how these movies were ranked before this movie came out. That's something interesting I would like to know. But anyway, yeah. So those were my final thoughts, man. Those are your final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts are the movie wasn't the worst thing ever. It wasn't that bad, but like it had glaring issues that I just can't get past, and it's not something I could just watch whenever it's on.
Yeah, when I knew I was only gonna watch this movie once, and once I watched it once, I knew what to expect, so I wasn't outraged or anything. I mean, I knew it was going to be the female empowerment movies. That's what everything is on at this point. So I wasn't shocked by it, but I'm good on seeing it again. But anyway, Rebel family, appreciate you for tapping in with me and my son here. We wanted to take time and just discuss this movie, and we didn't discuss the retcon stuff.
Oh
But
yeah,
you know what? Maybe we'll do that for a part two or something. That's something that it's probably going to take another 30 minutes to explain a lot of those things.
maybe, yeah.
So we'll just skip that and leave it for another time. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. And let us know in the comments what are your guys' thoughts if you saw this movie. Hopefully we didn't give away too many spoilers or anything. The movie's been out for a while, so hopefully you guys got a chance to see it. Tell us your rankings in the comments. And again, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, like and subscribe is all I gotta say.
All right, appreciate it. Peace, Rebel family.